Hey guys, it's Izzy and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you all about my heat problem. Now I've mentioned it being a problem on my channel before, and more recently behind the scenes I have been solving that problem. So today I'm going to be talking to you all about the whole process from when it started to the solution that I am currently doing. I thought this video might be quite useful just to give you an insight into the other things that come along with being an amputee rather than just like the missing limbs. There are other things that people with missing limbs such as myself experience, and this happens to be one of them for quite a few amputees. I also wanted to make this video for anybody else that is experiencing this, because for ages I thought it was a problem that couldn't be solved, when in actual fact it really easily can be actually. Let's start from the history of it. So ever since I can remember, I was always like, I'm hot. This started happening when I came out of hospital. I remember it literally being snowing and I'd be outside in a t-shirt because I would be too hot, and everyone around me thought I was crazy. I would always be like hot. It could be 3 degrees and I would be sweating or hot, and I wouldn't want to wear layers or coats or anything like that because I would get too hot. For ages, me and my family just kind of assumed that I ran hot. We didn't really see the correlation between getting ill with meningitis and then, you know, being hot. It just sort of seemed like, oh, Izzy's warm. I lived with it for literally 10 years without the problem being severe enough that I thought that I wanted a solution, and it would affect my life. Anything that involved using energy or moving would cause me to be hot, and this would quite usually show visibly through sweating, and I did find it embarrassing, you know. It's not nice to be sweaty. Over 2020, being at home, I really started to notice it as a problem, and it started being something that would really get me down because it was disgusting, and I knew it was disgusting, so that was making me feel disgusting. It got to the point where I would get so consumed by like heat when I was doing anything that involved physical exercise, and this doesn't just mean like going for a run. Like obviously you're going to sweat when you go for a run, or like, you know, it wasn't like that. It was, I would move over to my wardrobe to get some clothes out of my wardrobe and I would be sweating. I would get changed and I would sweat. You know, it wasn't like I was exerting loads of energy, it was just the tiniest little things and I couldn't cope with it. I don't know whether it started getting worse over 2020 or whether I just started like getting, like I've had enough with it, that I actually started getting to the point where I would do these actions that would make me sweat and make me really hot, and it would honestly consume me. It felt like a heat coming from within, and it made me to get to the point where I couldn't breathe sometimes because I was just dying that much, because I was just so warm. It sounds really dramatic now and I can't explain it. Well, the only way I can describe it is it was like heat coming within and I was just dying. I knew in myself that it wasn't like I was hot or anything like that, and it really wasn't related to anything like that. It was purely just something strange going on within my body. So I contacted the doctors at some point, I can't remember when, during 2020, and sort of said, look, I think this may be something more serious. I wasn't sure whether it was getting worse or anything, but it certainly wasn't getting better, and I knew it was something that I had lived with for at least 10 years, and it was starting to get to the point where it was really affecting my mental health because I was so self-conscious. I didn't want to do anything that meant that I had to move around other people because it would make me sweat. And it got in the way of my job because obviously I sit and film videos. Now yes, I'm sitting down filming a video, but I have a massive ring light on me and I've had to set up the camera, and just doing that, or even putting my makeup on for a makeup video, I would visibly sweat, which would make the filming process awful. I actually hated filming Instagram videos at one point, even though it's something I used to love, just because I could not get through a single video without profusely sweating. and I try and edit it out as much as possible, and I was trying to make all these glam looks and glam pictures where realistically some days I was having to then blow dry my hair because it had got that saturated with sweat. I know this is a bit TMI, and to me it's so just like, that was where the point where I would just have like done this amazing makeup look, and all I wanted to do was take a picture of it, but I couldn't because I was so uncomfortable and sweaty and disgusting. I had a virtual doctor's appointment and sort of explained my issues and my problems, and she did say that she thought it was linked to my disability, but they also wanted to do a blood test to sort of check all of my levels, to check it wasn't like hormonal or to do with a thyroid problem or anything like that. So I went and got my blood taken, and my blood results all came back clear, and so they referred me to a dermatology clinic to see what they could do. Now I'm still waiting for that referral, still haven't had an appointment through, which is absolutely fab. But my limb centre actually contacted me, and obviously I'm in with a doctor there. Now if you remember back to a video I did quite a while ago called like my legs are broken, something like that, it's about irritant based eczema. Now this is the same sort of problem. This was basically that me wearing prosthetics was making my legs sweat, obviously, and then that was causing me to have eczema. At the time, the limb centre really helped me resolve that problem as well, because they're just, it's like a skip up the queue. So I contacted them, and they were really helpful and wanted to help me find a solution. So obviously they knew my blood had all come back clear, so it wasn't necessarily a internal problem, so we went and had an appointment. In my appointment we basically considered all of the different things that could be due to, and they obviously wanted to highlight that it wasn't anything menstrual, and it wasn't like, oh, I've drank a hot drink, I'm hot. And so I kind of got across my point that it was a much more constant thing like that. It happened all the time and it had no cycle to it. So from this I thought they weren't going to be able to help me very much, but they were able to actually give me a few treatment options. Before I discuss the treatment options, I just wanted to tell you their sort of explanation as to why. So excessive sweating is called hyperhidrosis. That's not really like, it's not like a condition, it's just a definition for someone who sweats a lot. So that's kind of what they diagnosed me with and said that I had that. And basically it's due to my amputations. Obviously I've lost quite a lot of surface area on my body, and your heat comes out of all of your extremities, so because I've lost that, it means my heat has less place to come out of, so I retain my heat a lot more, which makes me warmer. And when this does come out, it does mean excessive sweating, because it's more dense coming out rather than spread out, which means it's excessive rather than just coming out naturally. It's quite difficult to explain. The main muscles, which are obviously your glutes and your like hamstrings and stuff in your thighs, they are where loads of your heat comes out of because of the big mass of that muscle. And with mine, they are actually covered up with my prosthetics, which again is trapping the heat and stopping it from being able to come out of my body. So if you actually consider that and don't count my legs as allowing heat out, it basically means that I'm screwed because I've lost so much surface area where heat would come out of. So what I've got left, the heat does try and come out of, but like I said, it is a little bit more extreme. Yeah, they were like, you can obviously try and do less, but I was like, no, I didn't want this to stop my lifestyle, anything like that. I wanted to still do what I wanted to do, but without the sweating, which I didn't think was possible. I've only actually tried one of the treatment methods they suggested. They suggested two, but the first one was successful, so it wasn't really necessary to try the second. The first treatment method was tablets. So basically they put me on a tablet. I'm not gonna like talk specifically about the tablet because I'm not a doctor and I don't know how that tablet suits different people with different conditions. So if you're interested in the tablet, go to your doctors and get prescribed it. So basically they put me on a tablet. Now we started off with a really low dose of 1 a day, and they were supposed to up me to 3. Now these tablets are not to be messed about with. And some of the side effects of these tablets is really serious and severe, and this is cause such chaos in the first week. So I first went on these tablets at the end of October, and they are a lot to get used to. The first main side effect of them is that it dries your mouth out. Now, you may have noticed, I've certainly noticed, I feel like it's changed my voice because my mouth gets so dry. It does cause me to have sort of a bit of a croaky throat sometimes, which I think makes my voice sound a bit deeper. I can really notice it, but other people can't. Some days the dryness is worse than other days, but it literally just depends, and on them really dry days my voice is really croaky, which is really fun. Some others of the side effects include, I'm trying to think what else, your vision can go blurry, sensitivity to light, they really dilate your pupils, and just kind of things like that. So you have to be really careful. I eventually balanced on a dose of literally just having 1 tablet a day. I drink it. I eat it 35 minutes before I eat food in the morning. That time has worked best for me. If I leave it longer than that, I get more of the side effects and like can't see, which is great. And less than that, it's not really effective. So 35 minutes, it works well. It leaves me at, I would say, like a normal human sweat level. So if I do exercise, like if I go to the gym, I do sweat, whereas normal day-to-day life, I don't. When I was on more tablets, I obviously experienced more of the side effects, but I also found that I would go to the gym and didn't sweat, which was so strange, and the doctors advised me to come off that a little bit because they wanted, you know, me to experience normal levels rather than like no. That is that. The tablet has worked great for me. Don't get me wrong, the side effects aren't very nice. However, I really weighed up the pros and the cons, and for me, the tablets have way more pros than cons. They make me feel so much more confident as a person. They've allowed me to do way more, and yeah, it makes me really, really happy. So things I can do now that I couldn't do before. I can wear my hair down a lot more because it doesn't get sweaty or hot, so that's great. I can tidy my bedroom without sweating. I haven't quite tried yet, but I'm going to try cooking and things like that because the heat of cooking used to kill me. Well, now it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I'll get changed, things like that, and I won't sweat. So honestly, they are absolutely life-changing for me. Being on the tablets actually made me realise how bad my problem was because of all of the scenarios now where I'm like, oh, I don't sweat. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you shouldn't sweat like in these situations that I used to, but I did because my body just could not cope with the heat it was stored. So when I used to sweat, I now just kind of get a heat, but it's not like an unbearable heat like before. It's weird. I feel like the sweating used to make me hot and it was kind of like a cycle, whereas now I'll get a little bit warm, like if I've just done some exercise, maybe go a little bit flushed, but not really sweating, so it's great. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing about this. I hope it's helped give you a little bit of insight into my life, or actually helped you. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to sit here and be like, go on these tablets. You should really weigh up the pros and cons yourself. Obviously go and see a doctor, see if they fit in with your own health and stuff like that. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to give it a like, comment, and also please subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in my next one. Bye!